who is playing Slinger this time, which is another character I have spent a lot of time. And I've kind of dropped Slinger. I kind of feel bad. He used to be my strong, firm tertiary, and I just like, I don't know what happened. I just don't play him that much anymore. I don't know. I kind of like got over it. Whatever like interest I had in him, I'll have to play him more and get back to him. There's just so many characters in the game now, you know. There's just so many characters in the game, so I just kind of like, it's hard to play them all. It really is. It's just hard to play them all. And, like, I haven't played Sadako in forever either, and I keep doing Killer Days, not playing Sadako. Hey, Red, how's it going? Welcome back. So 758 hours. Apple, you know, here every week. Here every week, whether it hits the YouTube or not. Doing these match reviews. Committed a Slinger match. Like I said, Slinger is somebody that I used to be my tertiary. Probably not anymore, but, you know, somebody I used to play a lot. Play almost every day, multiple times a day. Not the best Slinger, but I'm fairly okay. I'm pretty all right. I do play top 5 characters that I do play in the game. So I know a thing or two, so should be able to help. Orman, not the best map, especially for a 110 killer. They did send you here, so, you know, do not play nice by any means, especially if there's not here. Your build, obviously I don't see any slowdown, so that may come into effect, especially on a map as strong as Ormond. Stabiffle, great pick on Deathslinger. You're using double reload, great add-ons. Perfect add-ons for him. Nothing to say about the add-ons. That's what I use. Brutal, it can be a good pick. If people like to pre-drop against you, obviously it gets a lot of pallets out of the way, but it is mostly a comfort pick. Something better could probably go here. Stabiffle's great pick. Floods, good perk in general. I'm all ears. Once again, kind of a comfort pick to get that info when somebody vaults on where they're going. May get you some shots here and there, but these two, Brutal and I'm all ears, mostly comfort picks. Not bad choices, but mostly comfort picks. So if you're looking to beef up your build while playing Deathslinger, those were the two I would swap out. Stabiffle and Floods are fine. Especially Stabiffle. Stabiffle's a great pick on Slinger. Because you actually have a way to circumvent stacks by forcing the survivor to break the chain on your obsession. So you only lose 2 stacks instead of 4. Good. You know they're in here. There you go. I like how you're using the ugly Christmas harpoon out of season. I appreciate that level of tacky. That... There you go. Something like Jolt, probably a good pick here. Maybe in Pain Res, even though Pain Res is nerfed. Maybe Pain Res, because you're already using Scourgix anyway. These are good. Really good picks on them. Yeah, you assumed the window was there. Yeah, sometimes the window's there, sometimes it's in here. Not your fault. You had no chance of hitting that. There's no reason to swing there. So, something I'm already noticing right away is, while Deathslinger doesn't have the ability to aim down sights very quickly anymore, if you aim down sights and you aim down sights for too long, you're giving the survivor a lot of info on what you're doing. And specifically with Deathslinger, there is actually a sound cue that plays over the survivor audio when you're being directly aimed at by Deathslinger. There's like a little ringing noise. Like a metal ringing noise that appears in your ear whenever a Deathslinger is aiming directly at you. So by holding your gun up like that for a really long period of time, they're hearing that noise even if they're not directly looking at you. So you're giving them a ton of info on where you're aiming and what you're doing, which is going to make it very, very easy for them to dodge. So you kind of want to be snappy with your shots. Didn't know about it? Yeah, a lot of people don't. Unless you play Survivor a lot and run a lot of Deathslingers, it's probably not something you run into. But yeah, there's a little sound cue when you're being aimed directly at. So when you're just standing there and just like aimed ADSing for a really long time, they're just hearing that. They're just hearing that in their ear. So even if they don't have to look back and see you. A good time to do this is like when they're in a dead zone. Like they're out in the middle of nowhere and there's nothing for them to do. Yeah, zone them. Zone them doing that because they're going to want to dodge your shot and you're not actually going to shoot them. You're just going to ADS right up on top of them and M1. But if you're actually going for a shot, holding your gun up like that for long periods of time is just giving them too much info to dodge. Yeah, she had a lot of info on what you were doing, so she just reacted. Okay. That shot was better because it was a little bit more snappy. Okay, that's you just trying to show off. Good guess that she would do that. She just knew better. That was a good play on her part, not a failure on your part. Okay, you got to be more patient. That was a free hit. That was a medium ball. That was a free hit. You were just being impatient. That was just you being impatient. Could have hit her there too, like through the window vault. Slinger realistically circumvents windows. Either harpoons you before you get to them, or he harpoons you on the other side, and just reels you up to the window in M1s. There should be no reason that there's an entity blocked window while playing Deathslinger. I know that's maybe a little harsh, but like there's no reason that there should be an entity blocked window against Deathslinger, because Deathslinger is like he counters windows pretty hard. So you've done something wrong, which I would say being not patient enough with your shots. See, that right there should have happened way earlier. You just have to be more patient. Good. Very good. Okay, there you go. Quick, snappy, didn't give her a lot of time to react. Predicted exactly where she was going. See? But now you've lost 2 gens because that chase went on for so long. Yeah, your only info is Flood's range, so you have to wait for them to unhook to know where anybody is. That's why I personally don't use Floods a lot. I know a lot of people are Floods fans. And it is a good perk, objectively. But that's why I don't prefer it personally. Because I have to wait for the unhook to get my info, which I don't like. I'd rather just be in my next chase as quick as possible. She walked a little bit. That was a little confusing. That wasn't your fault. So Deathslinger's range is not very much. You're not like Huntress, where just because you see them on your screen, you can hit them. Think about it this way: if you can't shoot them from the think about it this way. Think about it this way: his harpoon range is roughly the size of Shack, like the Shack tile. If you wouldn't be able to shoot them on the other side of Shack, don't go for it. Good rule of thumb. It's roughly, I think, yeah, it's roughly the size of Shack. Like, use that as a measurement. Let's see. What is the size of can I look this up? Can I look this? Is there like measurements for Shack? I don't think I can find this on hand. So I'm sorry if this takes a little bit and I find nothing. For some reason, my brain's telling me 16. Has somebody told me this before? Because I know Deathslinger's is 18. But for some reason, my brain keeps popping up with like 16 meters. Is that how long Shack is? But anyways, case in point was the point I was trying to make. TLDR. It's like don't have that number on hand. There is your max range for your harpoon is 18 meters, and I think that's roughly Shack. It's a little bit more, a little bit less. So like use Shack as a kind of a measuring tool. So yeah. Record a match and I got a bunch of Babu survivors. That always happens, doesn't it? But people have had that issue before. They're like, finally, I'm gonna go get help from Bran, and they're like, they just like get the easiest matches of their life, and they're just like, oh well, guess not. That's kind of the hard thing. Is like, a lot of people have access to like record matches they just had, but a lot of people like, if you don't know or have the ability to do that, you just gotta pray you get a bad match. Nice. See that no use ability gets blasted. Remember, with boilover, wiggle with their wiggles. Don't go against it. Yeah. Like free agi at that point. Free agi. You basically defeat that perk if you just go with the flow. Yeah, they were. I don't think you knew there were two people there. So I don't think that was like a mistake. I think you just didn't realize. Just fine. Yeah, recording? Yeah, it happens. It happens. You're just like, okay, well, I won, so. I appreciate you guys wanting to send stuff in. Don't ever feel like you have to. Don't feel like you have to. I appreciate it. But I understand that, like, it's hard to get that sometimes. See, like, zoning here, she's already... Does she... How? Okay, she messed up, and you should have capitalized on it. But, like, zoning here does nothing. Because she's already against a tile. She's already made it to her resource. Zoning is best in scenarios where, like, they don't have access to a resource, or you're cutting them off from a resource. She already had Shack. She was already there. And theoretically, if she just kept looping it normally, she would have been completely safe. Not fading out for some reason. Weirdo. But yeah, there's no reason to zone here. Like, at all. So maybe you're having a misunderstanding of, like, what zoning is and what it's for, and maybe that's something we can... I like that little mind game. It was spicy. Yeah, it ended up working because she hesitated on the power drop. It was definitely unpredictable. She didn't know what was happening. And because you're Deathslinger, you can just pull them to you. That worked. That was cheeky. I like that. Win-win. There you go. I would love to do an Oni match review. Especially after all I've learned. I would love to do an Oni match review. That'd be cool. It'd be like the final coming of age, you know? Used to hate Oni, and now I love Oni, and now it's like... Be able to watch an Oni match and match review it. Sick. Where did he go? You spun around the moment you hit them, so I got disoriented. I got confused. Because you just like spun around instead of watching where he went. Well, that's a good play on her part. Yeah, perfect. Break the chain so you don't enter a stun. That was the right play there. You made a good play. You made the good. You made the right adjustment. You said play. Good job. Okay. They're all body blocking him because he's dead. Ooh. Let the chain break. If you want the chain to break quicker, it breaks quicker through objects. So I would have pulled her through the tree. That way it snaps quicker. Because now you just have to wait. So that's an easy way to shave off that time. Take her through an object real quick. They're literally like throwing to keep this day safe. She just healed midway. Did she have a syringe or something? She just healed midway. She either had a syringe or somebody syringed. Because she was injured when you shot her. So this is 709. Did you have a syringe earlier? When we first saw her? Did she have a medkit? She has a medkit, so she's syringed. Okay. I was just making sure nobody was cheating. Yeah, she has a syringe in that medkit. I was like, did I just witness somebody cheat? I was like, no. No, it's just a syringe. That'd be funny if we caught somebody cheating in the middle of a match review. You know how funny that would be? Catch a cheater in the middle of that. That's a really smart use of syringe if she's using it to body block. Bought all that extra time for him. That was smart. Yeah, trying to protect him. Yeah, stick on him. Oh, that's not good. Somebody just... Oh, you have more. Poor David. Yeah, that was kind of a... Like, that's a problem with Moris, is they take a lot of time. They just do, even the short ones. It's like you knew that Michaela was back there working on that gen, and you stopped defending it to get the Mori. Well, it's important to have David dead. Like, that gen was 99 right behind you. So I probably would have slugged her first and then Mori'd. Because you do just kind of let that gen get done uncontested. It's not good. Honestly, a lot of this was Zarita playing really well. It had very little to do with, like honestly, Zarita did a good job. Oh, that sucks that she made that vault. That was a good idea, though. That was a good idea. That was a very good idea. You're probably gonna end this with the 2K, I'd imagine. Okay. I like the choice to kick the pal first. That way the survivors in the next match don't use it. Are you baiting her? I mean, they know you have a Mori. You Mori'd one person. Like, unless they're assuming it's an Ivory, like, they're not gonna come for her. Yeah, there's no reason to bait her here. I don't know why you're baiting her. In general, even without a Mori, there's no point to bait a Deathhook survivor in endgame. They're not gonna fall for it because they're gone no matter what. There's like the whole point of baiting somebody in endgame is if they're like not Deathhook. That way they can go get the save and potentially fail the save, especially with something like save the best for last. You can force them to screw up a save and then, like, you know, die. But like she's Deathhook, so they're not gonna come for her. So you're just kind of like stalling for no reason. Yeah, you're just kind of stalling for no reason. Yeah, there's no point in the zone there because, like, she's next to, like, a window and a door. Like, there's no reason to zone there. I don't know what zoning's gonna accomplish either. She's staying around to be funny. She's not trying to do anything. She doesn't have no hopes to pick this person up. Like, they're staying to be funny. They're not doing this because they are actually attempting a play. They're just messing with you. Like, I don't think they realistically think they're going to be able to get this chick. They're just kind of, like, messing around. If anything, you are giving them a chance to make a play that they probably shouldn't have. This is the opposite situation. I feel like you're actually giving, like, potentially about to give them a play that they shouldn't have to potentially go for a pickup. This person should just be dead. You think you're potentially giving yourself snowball, but you're actually giving them pressure on you. Like, case in point, this ended up working out for you, it looks like. But what if Kate slipped by? And while you went to shoot her, like, the other person ran around and picked her up? Like, you would have been host. You would have been a 1K instead of a 2K. That was very risky. And not a good play. That was very risky. Luckily, they stayed grouped up, which was a bad play on their part. But, like, this situation shouldn't have been as risky as it was. Yeah, this could have easily been a 1K for you. You're lucky. You are lucky. You were lucky. That is absolutely brutal. Okay. Nothing egregious here in terms of the perks. Like, there's sprint burst, there's a dead hard, but, like, nothing crazy in terms of the perks. Nothing that I would be like, okay, well, that won the match a little bit faster than it probably should have been. I think my takeaways for this one are very, very clear, because there are two very glaring things that went wrong for you that lost you this match, or tied you this match, I suppose. You don't know, like, what is, like, we need to talk about zoning. Me and you need to talk about zoning. Come here. Son, I'm very disappointed. Like, you know, that's not like that. But it's like, come here, son. Come sit. Look at this grade. What is this grade for? What is zoning? Zoning, used on characters like Wesker, Deathslinger, Pyramid Head, people that can hold their power out and then release it, is best used when a survivor is either in a dead zone or in an area where they're not going to be able to very quickly reach a resource in like the next 2 seconds. So by holding your power, whether that be holding your harpoon up as Deathslinger, like aim down sights, or holding your sword in the ground as Pyramid Head, or readying your Ouroboros as Wesker, you force them to, instead of continuing to run towards a resource, zigzag back and forth in hopes of dodging your attack. That is why zoning is good. You are essentially convincing the survivor through paranoia to not continue on their current path and to dodge back and forth and lose a lot of distance so you can just walk up and M1 them. You zone people in the middle of resources, which is not what that's for, and that's why it didn't work. Holding up your harpoon and aim down sights at them while they're next to Shack, while they're next to a pallet, while they're next to a window, they're just going to take the window. They're just going to take the pallet. They're just going to keep looping around the tile. You know, like, zoning somebody while they're in the middle of something makes zero sense, because they're not afraid. They're just going to go to the resource that's safe. They don't feel unsafe because they have something to comfort them, that being the resources. If there's no plausible way you're going to beat them to the resource, there's no fear there. It's which ergo makes zoning pointless. So zone in situations where you're in a dead zone or they're not going to be able to very quickly make a resource. Don't zone in the middle of tiles, in the middle of stuff. Like, that just doesn't make sense. And it was a time waster. And you know what I say about, you know, match time. Match time is gen time. So that second thing is like at the end there, like, you actually could have ended this with a 1K. Like, you really could have ended this out the 1K. That was, I'll reiterate again. I just said it, but I'll reiterate it again for the takeaway, is that in the end game, when you're trying to snowball and apply pressure to get your pressure back, it's actually better to go for and utilize somebody who is not on death hook. Because if you utilize somebody who's not on death hook, you hook them, that creates a situation where the survivors have to come back in, heal, come back in, and save the person and potentially screw it up. If somebody is on death hook, that's no pressure on the survivor team anymore, because that survivor is dead either way. Whether it was the Mori, whether it was by hooking them, that survivor is a lost cause. There's no reason to go back and save them. And if anything, by just leaving her slug for as long as she could, like I said, if the Caden's arena actually split up, one of them probably could have snuck in and picked up Michaela. And depending on what resource was nearby when that happened, she could have slapped a pallet in your face and left. And that would have been that would have been a 3-out. That would have been a 3-out for you. You got very lucky that they stayed grouped up instead. I don't know if they were a little panicked. They were trying to look for a chance to heal. Probably something like that. That's why they were grouped up. But realistically, the smart play there was to be split up and go pick up Michaela while you're distracted chasing Zarina. Because you did end up going after and harpooning Zarina at the end there. If the Kate was somewhere else, like behind the snowplow, come up, pick up Michaela, run, you know, like, may have been a 3-out. So yeah, if you may have caused a much worse situation. You got lucky. You got very lucky this time. But yeah, I would not do that in the future, because that could have ended very poorly for you. Very poorly for you. But yeah, that would be my two main takeaways from that match that I would improve on.